Hello there, and welcome back after a very long break to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed. This is episode 173, and I am joined, as ever, by my good friend, my co-host Chris. Welcome back, mate.
Hello, everyone, and hello, James. Good to see you.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah, same. It's been too long.
Yeah, it has been a long time.
I kind of want to start with what have I missed? But actually, I'll tell you what. I'll say this. Our last episode was published 21st of December, and it was our Christmas Game Awards. You, me, and Louise, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
That was fun. That was great to listen to you, what you've played, what you've liked, what you haven't liked, and listen to Louise again. What has she been playing? What has she liked? What stood out.
I can't believe it was the 21st of December. That seems like ages ago.
It's been a lot has happened since then, that's for sure. But that was a good one, and I published a short podcast update 3 days
Yeah.
ago, and like I said, then I've missed it. It's been difficult, but I've missed it, and I'm very glad to see you again,
Yeah.
to hear your voice. So I don't know. I tell you what. Let's start with Assassin's Creed. This franchise that we love. What have I missed?
What have you missed? Well, not really much, to be honest. I mean, it's been kind of quiet. I mean, there's been the odd rumor and leak here and there for Red and stuff. So, but I mean, you know me, I try and stay out of all that type of stuff. I don't like leaks in the slightest. I don't want to know about them. I don't even want to see them on my timeline. But unfortunately, doing what we do, I see it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
I know what you mean. I hope. I mean, with Mirage, actually, I mean there was plenty of leaks, but I did try to ignore them up until the week before release when we were invited to that preview event, and
yeah,
even then, we didn't really see anything that spoilt the story. I found the story great. The game was great. But yeah, I'm the same. Assuming Red is this year, and I don't know if that's guaranteed yet, but assuming it
yeah,
is, I'm really looking forward to it.
same.
And I really want to enjoy it without any spoilers. But yeah, it might be. It's so hard, isn't it? Because it might be impossible, and you end up. If you really want to avoid spoilers, you have to cut yourself off from social media, from Discord,
Yeah,
from Reddit, from
completely.
yeah,
Complete
yeah,
blackout.
yeah. That's the only way to do it, and it's impossible if you do what we're
Yeah,
doing
and,
here.
and that's no fun either. I mean, you want to be in talking to people about what's coming and stuff, but without it being completely spoiled. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But I think the stars are aligning that it'll probably be released this year. I think that's the
it
general.
it is looking that way, and I mean, it feels like the right time for it. I feel like they've had quite a long time making it, so. But I mean, who knows? I mean, it could end up going next year, but I mean, there's some really big things coming out next year. I don't know if they would want to go up against some big things like GTA and all this.
Good point.
But also, I think Ghost of Tsushima 2 is meant to be next year as well, so that would be really weird, they two being up against each other.
Now, I think had I finished it when we recorded? Yes, I have played now finished main story anyway. Ghost
Yeah,
of Tsushima. Yeah, you do not want to be going up against.
yeah. Because they already got compared so much when the
Yes.
first one came out, and I mean, they are very similar games, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Ghost of Tsushima is good to me, but I feel like there's so much they could improve on. So I'm expecting big things from the second one. Whereas Assassin's Creed, this is their, say it's like what, their 14, 15, I don't know how many games they've made at this point. I've lost track. But however many it is, it's still their first one that they're doing in Japan, and it's been a long time coming. So I mean, there's a lot of expectation with that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima, and I understand why people say it's like Assassin's Creed. It feels very much, it actually feels quite a lot like a Ubisoft open world, right?
Hmm.
Stuff to explore, looks beautiful. But once I'd played the main story, I definitely felt I'd had enough. I didn't feel any particular desire to 100% it or
Yeah.
do the side stories, and some were great, but I certainly didn't complete everything. What I found quite funny is a lot of people have said, it's Assassin's Creed, but not done by Ubisoft, or it's the best Assassin's Creed we've had in years. And I totally get it. You can hide, you can climb over roofs, you've got a range of tools, you can do one-hit assassinations. But actually, I found the melee combat so enjoyable. I never did stealth because it was just too much fun to get that precise timing of the standoffs against the Mongols, or just getting into combat and switching stances on the fly as the different enemies come at you. So I never really used the sneaky approach.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've done the exact same thing, and I'm all about the stealth. Like, in games where you have the choice, I'll always pick the stealth option.
Me too.
But Ghost of Tsushima specifically, I was playing that coming off the back of Sekiro, my favorite game.
Yeah.
So, and that's all about the fast-paced combat. So I was looking for something to kind of fill that void. And obviously, Ghost of Tsushima isn't anywhere near that, but it was still fun enough with the parrying and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that.
Sekiro, it's on. Was it a PlayStation exclusive originally, or has it always been
No,
on PC?
it's all well, I don't know about PC. It's always been on Xbox as well as
Okay.
PlayStation.
Oh, fine.
But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was on PC to begin with.
Yeah, I think I've seen it on Steam, and every now and then it keeps popping up in my recommended list, and I keep giving it side eye, thinking.
Do you like Souls games?
I mean,
That's the real question.
here's the honest answer: no.
Yeah, right.
The closest thing I've played to one is Jedi Fallen Order,
Yeah,
which I found incredibly challenging to get through.
yeah.
So no, it's probably I'm
Yeah, you'd probably find Sekiro quite challenging. Yeah, it took a lot for me to get into it, but once it clicked, it clicked. So, but it took me a lot to get there.
is it about timing, or is it reading the animations?
Well, Sekiro specifically is more. It's like I've seen a lot of people compare it to a rhythm game, which is really weird
Oh, interesting. Okay.
because it's like you do need to like figure out the attack patterns and stuff like that, but there is a lot of rhythm to it, specifically with the parrying and stuff. So,
Interesting.
and that's I like the combat in that because it is so fast, but like I said, it is hard to get used to. But see, once it does click, it's one of the best feelings in the world. So
Interesting.
yeah,
I've played two. Okay. I'm already tripping over my words. So in the last 10 days, I played the Stellar Blade demo
all right.
on PS5 because I saw a Digital Foundry tech review of it, and I thought, bloody hell, this game looks amazing. Let's give the demo a try. I haven't completed the demo because I'm finding it so hard,
All right.
and it's timing. The
Right.
the enemies hit very hard, and I can see it's coming, but I just can't make my fingers move quick enough to dodge or
Yeah.
parry to get the timing right. And I have probably died 10 times to get 25 minutes into the demo.
Yeah.
So I probably don't have the right skill set for Sekiro. But the other game that has some familiar things to what you've just described is I started Nier Automata last week.
Yeah, I'd seen on Discord that you were playing that last week. I was like, playing Nier? What?
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that would be a game you would play, but I was like quite
So
impressed.
again, neither did I. And again, I've had it in my wish list for ages because I love Digital Foundry. I subscribe to the channel. I support them on Patreon. Love their content. And they did a tech review of it on Switch when it was ported to Switch last year. And I stuck it in my wish list and left it there. And it was on sale a few months ago, very, very cheap. And I thought, I don't know anything about this apart from that tech review. It looks interesting. It's quite different for a few pounds. I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm kind of hooked because it's really, really, it's a bit odd. It's an odd game. The
Yeah.
story is very,
Out there.
it is, but it's really interesting. I can see lots
Yeah.
of things that are going to keep my mind going. The combat is quite strange. You're balancing your little pod that floats
Yeah.
alongside you against your own moves, but it's so fast. I love it. You're constantly flying around and zipping
Yeah.
and dodging and jumping and dashing, and I'm hooked. I
Yeah, it's a
love
lot
it.
of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be honest. I am playing on the easiest difficulty because it's also like so much to learn, but really enjoying it. I do prefer it to compare the two. Nier is for me, and it's just how they're designed. Of course, I get it. Very responsive. You can dodge at any moment. You can zip around. You can back off and then go back in. With Stellar Blade, you've got to be very deliberate and very careful
Yeah.
and very good timing. I don't
You
have
see,
those
Stellar
skills.
Blade sounds like it's taken a lot of inspiration from Sekiro. That's what it sounds like. And I've been talking to Adam about this because he's been going on about this game non-stop, and I hadn't heard of it until he mentioned it like to me a couple of weeks ago. So, but I'm kind of like getting lazy now, like, and this goes into our conversation that we'll have later
Yeah.
about Rise of the Ronin,
Aha.
but I can't really be bothered with hard games anymore now. Like, I've done Sekiro and Dark Souls and all these things, and I've had a blast with all them,
Yeah.
but I just don't know if I've got it in me to keep going.
Mm. Mm.
And I'm actually playing Rise of the Ronin on the easiest difficulty right now just because I cannot be bothered with, because on medium is actually solid. Like, I put the game on for the first time, just kept it on medium like I do with every game, and got to the first boss and died about 10 times in a row. And I was like, what is going on? I didn't think this game was going to be this hard. And then I got through it and stuff,
Man.
but then I got a little bit further and I thought, you know what? I really can't be bothered with this. I'm just going to restart and put it on the
Yeah.
easiest difficulty and just,
Yeah.
I would rather enjoy this game for the story and to have the shenanigans sneaking about and stuff instead of trying to have perfect parries and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Stellar Blade is not almost certainly not a game I will spend money on. But
yeah,
I figured it's a demo. Let's give it a shot. And I really want to finish the demo. I believe it's only about an hour of story, right?
yeah.
As I say, I've barely scratched it. But anyway, I would like to kind of finish the demo just to say I finished it. But it's not my style of thing. So maybe I won't buy Sekiro. Hey mate, let's skip like about six things further ahead in our planning document. Tell me, when we spoke in our last episode in December,
hmm
Rise of the Ronin was the game you were looking forward to
Yeah.
this year. So the floor is yours.
So, yep, I got it. The date came out, and it's been about I think 3 weeks it's been out, and I've honestly only played it like 3 or 4 times. I've just not had the time. I've been so busy lately. So, but I've tried to play it as much as I can. But what I have played from it, I have absolutely adored. And like I said, I did start it. I started it on the normal difficulty, and I got through the prologue and all this type of stuff. And then I got into like the open world part, and then I thought, you know what, this because it does have a lot of Dark Souls in it, and the fact that you've got like your bonfires, and when you rest at them, all the guys that you've killed will reappear. These types of things. I knew it was like that, and I knew it had difficulty settings, but I wasn't expecting it to be as hard as it is. And I should have known better because it's from Team Ninja, and these are the guys that make Neo and stuff like that, which are really proper hard games.
Mm.
So I decided just reset, put it on easy, and I'm just going to enjoy it that way. And I've been having an absolute blast with it because it is like there's like bits of Sekiro in it. There's I seen, I think it was like IGN or something, were comparing it to like Assassin's Creed and all this. And I don't actually know where they got that from, but I can't see it myself. But no, I've really enjoyed it because there's a lot to it. And I'm going to say something a bit controversial here,
Hmm.
but I enjoy this game so much more than Ghost of Tsushima.
It's not controversial.
And I know they're not really the same type of game, really, but they are big open world combat focused type games. So. I've just enjoyed it so much more. There's
Yeah.
so much more to do. I mean, the graphics, I've seen a lot of people complain about that side of it, but I mean, graphics have never been that important to me. I would always pick gameplay over graphics any day. So, yeah, I mean,
Mm.
there's all sorts of stuff to do in it. I mean, you've got the grappling hook like Sekiro, so you're just like zipping about the place. You can collect cats to get coins off
Okay.
them to like buy things and Aye, there's actually a lot to the game, and it's set in I think the Edo period of Japan, so it's like not what AC Red's going to be in. It's a completely different time period, I'm pretty sure.
It's I saw a trailer and I forget the name of the US Navy.
Aye, well, the first bad guy you run into is called Matthew Perry.
That's it,
Aye,
Commodore Perry. That's
aye, and
it.
we were like Matthew Perry, okay. But
Different Matthew Perry. Yeah.
aye, exactly, yeah. And I was like, oh, I feel bad. I liked him. That's a shame. But anyway, so yeah, that I mean, there's like because there's guns and stuff in it. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say, so there must be firearms, gunpowder,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's actually like one of the things. So you make it's actually interesting because light spoilers, I guess. Basically, the game is you make two characters at the start, and they're basically called Twin Blades, and that is like the story. It's like these assassins basically, and they work together, and like so if they're together, they're like unstoppable. And you make the two characters, and then kind of like a wee bit through the prologue, you need to select one of them to be the
Okay.
protagonist of the story. It's quite interesting. And then I won't say any more, but then things happen, and yeah, you go on your way, and you've got this big open world to play about in, and that part of the game really actually gives off strong Elden Ring vibes,
Okay. Got
which I
it.
thought was
Got
interesting.
it.
So yeah, it is a fun game. So if you do plan to play it, I would suggest playing it on the easier
Got
difficulty,
it. I
like me.
think you've already told me enough that I probably won't get it. At least I wouldn't pay full
Yeah,
price because I'm not going to pay full price for a game that I end up
yeah,
sucking at and never finishing. I've bought so many
yeah,
games recently, heavily discounted in various Steam sales or whatever, and I've got
yeah.
into the habit of adding the monthly games in on the PS Plus subscription. So I've got so many games on my backlog. Anyway, yeah. All right. So Rise of the
Mm.
Ronin. Does it feel like Origins Odyssey Valhalla? Does it feel like Ghost of Tsushima? Does it feel like its own sort of unique spin on open world stuff?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just does feel like a kind of
Okay.
easier Souls game, like open world, and kind of go off, do side quests, collect things. Yeah, I mean, you're climbing all the buildings, all that type of stuff. I mean, it is a fun game, and there's a plenty to
Mm,
keep you busy in it.
mm,
Um, but yeah, there is just a little bit about the combat. It's
right.
quite tricky. But that is more about, for me, it was more about I couldn't get my head around the buttons because instead of it being like different combinations of buttons for things, it's like you tap X or you hold it in or you tap it and then hold it and then tap it again. It's really weird, man. So it's an odd way of, I don't know how you'd say it, but yeah, the
Mm,
buttons I guess
mm.
are weird. But apart from that,
All
it's
right. Is
it's a
is
fun
it
game.
is it measuring up to what you hoped for when you said it was the game you were looking forward
Yeah,
to?
no, it is. It's pretty much what I thought it was going to be, and it does have. See, because the guys that make it, Team Ninja, they are known for these types of Dark Souls games with Neo and stuff like that. But I feel like what they've done with this is they've tried to make it more accessible. They've wanted to make one of their type of games, but make it more accessible. So they've like dropped the difficulty a bit. They've emphasized more on the story. They've put a ton of history into it, and there's tons of stuff to read. And you've got like about a million menus for your combat, your armor, and all these types of things, man. So yeah, I'm going to be busy with it for quite a while, I think.
Awesome. Probably about what we're thinking about 4 or 5 months up until the release of Red, maybe. Who knows? Or you might have
Yeah.
had enough of Japanese themed video games by that
Oh,
point.
probably not, because I have been waiting for this moment.
Yes. Yes.
As soon as Ghost of Tsushima came out, I was really happy because
Mm,
that was the game I was waiting for.
mm.
And then as soon as AC Red got announced, I was almost in tears.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. The lead
Would you?
development. Sorry, mate. Go on.
I was just gonna say, what do you think? Do you reckon it would be October or November?
That's a very good question.
Because I can't remember when Mirage even came out.
Mirage was October.
Was that the only one I ever remember off the top of my head is Origins was the 27th of October.
Okay, they're mostly October. Odyssey was, I think, a little bit earlier in October, mid-October.
Right.
Valhalla was early November, although again it was middle of COVID. We don't know whether that was the planned date or whether COVID pushed it back by a few weeks or who knows what. Mirage was October, but do you remember it had been delayed multiple times? It'd probably been delayed about 9 months, but then it got brought forward by a couple of weeks at the last minute.
So, I mean, if things go on a schedule when they are planning to release it this year, then we could probably
I feel like October.
guess late October, probably.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
I hope it's not the beginning of October because I'm going on holiday and that will just mess my whole life up.
I got to block. I mean, as soon as we know the date, I'm gonna take a day off. I'm
definitely.
gonna hopefully block some time. I'm gonna say to my wife and kids goodbye. I'll see you in a few weeks.
That's what I said to my girlfriend. I was like, see, when AC Red comes out, you're probably not going to see me for about a week or something.
I tell you, I took the day off when Mirage was released, and even though we'd had early access, and I finished the story, I took the day off. I streamed for about 6 hours, I think, and it was just great. It's just nice to be feeling that on that day, you know. And I hope to do the same with Red. We as we're talking about Japan themed stuff, my preparation for Red has been, and I started late, but I'm catching up with the series Shogun on Disney Plus. Have you heard of it? Have you watched it?
I have heard of it. I haven't watched it yet, and that is only because I thought I will watch it after I'm finished watching, because for a second time, I'm watching Blue Eye Samurai.
Okay.
So I thought I should finish that first,
Yeah.
and then I will watch Shogun. So I've heard nothing but good things. I keep seeing in the Discord that everyone keeps going on about it, and I'm like, I don't want to know.
It's based on a novel that was first published in the 70s by I forget if he was British and then lived in Australia or was Australian and sort of lived most of his life in Britain. I forget which way around it was, but the author, James Clavell, he was in the army in World War II. He was imprisoned by the Japanese. Japanese did not treat their prisoners of war well. So he suffered. But for whatever reason, I think he may have learnt the language while a prisoner. He was then inspired to write a number of historically set novels sort of centered around Japanese characters. And Shogun, now anyone who's listened to this show for a long time might have heard me mention that I used to love to play the Total War games. And the first Total War game was Shogun Total War, which I think was released in 2000. And I fucking love that game, mate. The TV series is set in the same period as that video game. It's the Sengoku Jidai, the age of the country at war. It's a period of about 1530 to 1600. Now, the video game covers like the entire period. I think you can just keep playing if you want to conquer the whole of Japan. I think the events of this series are towards the end of that conflict, so probably around the late 1500s, maybe around 1600. It's a fictionalized version of the daimyo Tokugawa Ieyasu and his retainers and his clan and everything. The book, I read it as a teenager. I reread it multiple times. One of my favorites. Haven't read it since then. The TV series, it's a fantastic adaptation. It's just got atmosphere. It's got actors performing, and it's got amazing non-verbal storytelling. You know, it's just incredible. The lighting, the attention to detail, everything is just it's amazing. It's the best thing I've watched since The Last of Us on HBO last year. Absolutely brilliant. So looking forward to you when you start watching that. I feel like it'll be good warm up for Red, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I always like to pin shows or movies with AC games specifically, because that was like obviously like everyone watched The Last Kingdom or Vikings when they were playing Valhalla, and I mean another show that I always talk about but nobody has ever watched is Black Sails, because I watched a lot of that back in the day, and that was perfect for Assassin's Creed 4. Oh no, I wasn't expecting you to have. And it was a show on the TV station in America called Stars, which I'm like most anyone from this country hasn't really
Oh,
heard of.
okay.
And I'd only seen it because I lived in America for 5 years
Right.
and I'd just seen it. I seen the first two seasons, and then it wasn't until I came back here that I seen the last, because there's only four seasons of it, but it's still my favorite show to this day. Like I think it is absolutely amazing. I actually think Wolfie talks about it as well. She's seen it.
Yeah.
Don't think she likes it as much as I do, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right. If it's a recommendation from Wolfie, we'll give it a try.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can even get it. I'm sure you can get it on Netflix or some other network here in the UK.
Well, I actually just bought it a few weeks ago on Amazon
Ah,
because it was only £5 a season, so I got it for the whole thing for 20 quid.
nice. All right.
Yeah. I was like, I love this is my favorite show. Why did I not own this? So yeah,
Brilliant.
just got it on Amazon.
Yeah. So I suppose let's make a general point here. We're not going to do spoilers about Red. We're not going to do leaks. We'll talk about stuff that Ubisoft publish. So when there are gameplay trailers, story trailers, if there's a dev diary or two, like we did with Mirage, if there's stuff that's public, we'll give our reaction. We'll cover it. Let's see. But yeah, we're not going to repeat or go into data mine stuff, leaked stuff.
Yeah.
I know people are very clever and sort of scanning through LinkedIn to see what developers are putting on their profiles, and I kind of respect the level of detail people will go to. But for me, we're not gonna cover that
I don't
here.
know why they even care.
Yeah,
Like some of it, because I mean, right, I'm not going to say it, but the last thing that they found, right, in quotations, uh, I just rolled my eyes so much because I was like, this is getting like posted everywhere on Twitter, and everyone's going crazy. Have you seen this? And I'm like, why do you even care about that specific thing? Because it's literally nothing.
I think
Like it's
yeah,
literally nothing.
yeah. There's an element of
Like,
like
oh, go
everyone's
away,
just
man.
trying to get their minute of fame, aren't they? By
Yeah,
you know,
basically.
the one thing I will say, and again, people who've listened for a while will know this. I loved Odyssey. Thought it was a great game. I thought it was fun, fast, furious, very, but also very like we were saying earlier about Nier Automata, very responsive.
Hmm.
You could get yourself into trouble and get yourself out of trouble in a way that I
Yeah.
just didn't enjoy Valhalla. Much slower. I appreciate they were going for a different style. It's not a criticism. It's just not what I like. I hope that Red has more of the Odyssey DNA and a bit less of the Valhalla DNA, or maybe it's a blank piece of paper and it'll be something completely different,
Hmm.
and I'm okay with that too. You know.
Feel like it kind of has to be a bit faster given what it is, being shinobi or samurai or whatever. Kind of need to be
Yeah.
fast,
Hope so.
nimble.
Hope so. All right. What else have we missed? So I saw that Jade, the mobile game, has been
Yeah.
delayed. Has there been any commentary on why? Because that looked, I mean, that looked in the beta test to be in a very good state.
Well, I will be honest with you, I do not follow news on Jade
Got it.
whatsoever, which is weird because I follow everything else about Assassin's Creed, but it's just I thought that game looks great, but I've just got no interest in a phone game
Me too.
whatsoever. So I just kind of brushed it off to the side. I did see that it's what coming out in 2025 now, so next year. Was it supposed to come out
I
this
think
year?
so. Yeah. The
Yeah.
beta was autumn last year. I mean, Jesus, mate, time flies. I
Did you play it?
No, I applied and
Right.
didn't get a response. I mean, fair enough. Quite a few have had different guests we've had on the show in the past, and
Mm.
others did get to play it.
See, that's the other thing. My phone wouldn't be able to play it anyway. Like, I've never ever bought a decent
That's a
phone.
good
I've
point.
always just bought kind of crap phones because I don't care about them. I don't do anything with my phone. I use it to phone and text people, and that's
Yeah,
it.
I've got an
You know
old
what I mean? I'd spend my money on other
yeah.
stuff. So,
I've got an old iPhone SE here. It probably wouldn't play, and actually, it's got such a small screen.
yeah,
You wouldn't want to be playing,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
a really dense open world full of NPCs on this tiny thing. So, yeah, it's I don't know, why isn't it coming out on
Yeah,
iPad
'cause
and like
the pictures that I saw of it, it did look quite
yeah,
pretty, and I was like, oh yeah, it looks all right.
yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
yeah, any transmedia recently? I mean, there was a lot related to Mirage. We covered it on the show over the
I
last 6 months, but
think they announced a new book, or I think it was a comic actually.
uh,
Was it Visionaries or something? I'm not entirely
okay.
sure. Yeah, I think I'd seen a post about it maybe last week or something, but yeah, the comics I'm not really too that into, so
Me too. Me too. Um, all right. I want to head over to a potentially sensitive topic. Um, how is your Ubisoft account? Because I saw your tweet, or I've
Oh,
seen multiple tweets from you to Ubisoft
yeah,
support saying, "Please help me." So what's going
yeah.
on?
Right, so basically on your Ubisoft account, right, you have your connections, so you can connect your Xbox account, your PlayStation, your Facebook, and a couple other things, Twitch and stuff like that. I changed my gamer tag, and then something's going on with the Ubisoft account not registering it. So basically, I could play some Ubisoft games on Xbox because it doesn't require you to be logged into Ubisoft Connect. But things like Mirage, Valhalla, I can't play
Jeepers.
because you have to be on the server
Yeah.
to be able to play it, which is a complete joke. And then not only that, see, I knew what the problem was, and I knew it could be fixed because if you actually go into your Ubisoft account, right, you used to be able to just disconnect an account from it, and then you could put in a new account or relink the old one. But they've taken that ability away, and now if you can unlink it, but now it will still say or relink whatever your name was. Do you know what I mean? So they actually have to go in on their end and delete it, which they can do. And like I said, it would literally take them a couple of minutes to do this, right? But
Yeah.
it's been 3.5 weeks now. By Wednesday, it'll be 4 weeks, but we've went with the nuclear option. So basically what I've done is anything, right, basically I've started a new Xbox account, right? And a new Ubisoft account. And that's for me. Anything I'm doing for the Ubisoft creators, I'll need to get a PS5 code instead of an Xbox one, which
Oh,
is fine. Like,
shambles, mate. But you've got all your
yeah,
gaming
like I
history
said,
and everything on your
all
Xbox account.
every AC game that I own is on Xbox because I mean,
Yeah.
I've always been
Yeah.
a more Xbox guy. So yeah, all my games that I own currently are over there. Whereas on my PlayStation, I only own about 5 games right now. None of them are AC, funnily enough.
Okay.
They gave me Black
Oh,
Sails,
damn,
but
mate.
I've not actually played it. I don't really want to be honest. So yeah, I couldn't wait any longer because, like I said, I done this on Friday. I was like, I cannot wait any longer. I want to play an Assassin's Creed game. I've got pictures I want to take. I've got things I want to do. So I'm not waiting any longer. I'm just going to make a new account,
Oh,
and you know
man.
what? I just don't even care anymore. We're doing it.
Oh, my God, mate. I hope I mean, I guess if they fix it, is it easy enough on Xbox to switch
I mean,
accounts and bring in all the
in
previous
theory,
purchases and
they
everything?
should be able to just delete it on both things, and then I can just re-upload
Yeah.
the one where I want it to be. But like I
Yeah.
said, for my Ubisoft creators profile, I have one Ubisoft account. And for my personal stuff, I've got another. So it's not really a big
Right.
deal. It's
Okay.
just, it is what it is now.
But you mentioned something there, and you did put an update on Discord. And I know I read it and said congratulations, but I haven't had much of a chance to talk about it. Let's talk about the Ubisoft Creators Program.
All right.
So, congratulations, mate.
All right, thank you very
Nice
much.
one. I guess it's kind of a replacement for things like the Mentors Guild, maybe, or Star
I would
Players
say
as
the
it used
star
to be called.
players, I would say, because
Okay.
it isn't just for Assassin's Creed, obviously. It's
Hmm.
for all their games, all their properties. So yeah, I mean, I had wanted to get into the program for a while just because I felt like if there was something to join for me. Like I'd seen other people like joining other um creator programs for other things or sponsorship things. But I was like, me, I love Assassin's Creed, so I thought if there's going to be anything, it should be that. So yeah, I had to.
Yeah,
I'd
nice.
applied a few times and I got knocked back the first time. So yeah, it was just like I guess perseverance and actually want to give a shout out to one of the community managers of Ubisoft who I think helped quite a lot in pushing forward not only my involvement but basically Ubisoft taking virtual photography more seriously.
Nice.
And that's Shauna from the dev team.
Ah,
So
Shauna,
shout out to
excellent.
Shauna.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, hello, Shauna. I doubt she listens,
That's
but
fine.
she's great.
Yeah.
She's great. She was a big help for us when we were doing the community relief
Yeah.
project, which was more than a year ago now.
Yeah.
So yeah, nice one.
Because it was like I
Nice one.
said, I had questions and I'd reached out to her and I was like, can you explain something to me? Like, I don't understand how do people get into the Ubisoft Creators Program when they've got no Twitch, no YouTube or anything like this? And I was like, but they seem to like they're virtual photographers. And she told me she was like, I'm like currently trying to get Ubisoft to take more seriously. I'm just trying to figure out who to have a conversation with, and we'll get the ball rolling and stuff. And then literally a few weeks later, they announced the Ubisoft photo mode competition, and then I get made
Yes,
a Ubisoft creator and stuff. And I was like, okay, I think things are
brilliant,
actually
mate.
starting to change. So yeah, it's good.
Brilliant. That's great. I have observed in the last, especially when so Mentals Guild closed more than a year ago, and it was folded into the Star Players
Yeah,
program. Then Star Players was closed again. What, I forget, 6 months ago, a while
yeah,
ago. It feels like the creators program is probably the last fan engagement
yeah,
program that Ubisoft has.
yeah,
I have applied under the auspices of the show a few times and had no response. And I did observe that some people were getting admitted, and I, like you said, as best as I could tell, they were creating minimal content. Maybe they were doing things in real life and not sharing it. I don't know.
yeah,
But I didn't get it because, sure, we're not streamers. We don't have millions of subscribers. But I think we produce decent content. We
yeah,
cover a wide range. We don't do spoilers. We don't attack the devs because we're not those sorts of people.
yeah,
And I did think to myself, this doesn't seem right, man. How can people who don't create, they don't stream, they don't create video content, they're not cosplayers, they don't do anything that I can
yeah,
see. How are they getting in? So
yeah.
interesting that glad you raised it with Shauna and that she's been able to get something done.
Yeah.
I'll have to reapply, I think.
Yeah, I would keep trying. I mean, that was the first person I ever spoke to about it was Aaron from the ones who came before, because he was in.
Oh yeah,
And that's sort of like, because as far as I could tell, he didn't stream or anything like that. He was just virtual photographer. And I asked him, and I was like, "How did you get in?" He was like, "I don't." He's like, "I don't even know." He's like, "I just kept applying." He's like, "I can't remember how many times he said he'd applied, but it was like quite a few times." And he just kept
all
getting
right,
knocked back, and then I think he got
okay.
eventually.
And they just went, for
And
God's
and
sakes,
that's
man,
what happened
you're
to
in.
me. I'd like applied quite a few times, and I got in. So I just do
Okay,
that.
okay, all right.
Never know.
Noted. Perseverance. All right. Well, congratulations, mate. That's great. What
Cheers.
does it mean for you? What does it give you or help you? Does it give you things to help you create content? Is
Well,
it
yeah, I mean, I don't really know what I'm allowed to say to be honest, but
obviously don't break any
yeah,
NDAs.
yeah. I mean, I think it's alright to talk about um this. Basically, like they'll send through campaigns like, do you want to be a part of this or not? You can accept it, decline it, whatever you want to do, and it's usually
Okay.
like I'd done for the Far Cry stuff. Like they gave me a few codes to give away for Far Cry on PC.
Nice.
And they also gave me Twitch drops, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do that stream because that was when my Xbox account thing happened. So I was actually got snookered for that one. But it's fine. It's like I
All
said,
right.
I'm more looking forward to when AC Red gets closer. I'm really hoping that the creators program will get some goodies.
Yes, yes, and that's a reminder to me to sort out the show.
Mhm.
I will say, so Chris and I and Declan, we were invited to they called it the red carpet for Mirage. It was like a
Yeah.
community creators event. It was brilliant. Really appreciated the community developers adding us to that, because, as I say, we're a tiny little channel group in the scheme of things. So really appreciated being invited to that. I really think it helped us understand the game, appreciate the game, learn more about how it was made. I hope we can do the same for Red, although I think that I wouldn't expect it. I think we have to keep creating the show, maintaining the quality. That's how you would maximize your chances. But
Yeah.
I do remember, and this was unfortunately at the end of last year, not only did we have what was going on in my personal life, which I've covered in the previous update, but I was working on a work project which was just fucking insane. So from about September till March, I probably started to trail off in February, but aside from personal stuff, I was sort of working 12-hour days, week after week after week after week on this project. The project is finished. Now, in the middle of that project, I got a very nice email from the community developers saying, nice to meet you, nice to learn about the show, looking forward to staying in touch. And I never replied. And I'm so sorry. I feel really bad. It was just the middle of a storm of other stuff. In fact, we didn't even make any episodes, I think, in the month of October or month of September, because I was so busy. But I will reply to that. I need to apologise profusely for ignoring them. Hopefully they'll understand why we've been away. But I want to make sure that really I'm just looking for the contact that helps us make good episodes.
Yeah.
Make informed content, because it's easy just to say this is shit, that's shit, lazy days, all that crap that people write, which just all of those comments piss me off.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to just learning enough to make better content,
Yeah, absolutely.
So all right, we already spoke about Rise of the Ronin, and I mentioned a few games that I've been playing recently. What else have you been playing in the last 4 months since we spoke?
A little bit of everything, really. I mean, you know me, I'm always playing AC games. Well, I was trying to the past 3 weeks, but couldn't. So I wasn't playing any of that. I've played Rise of Ronin. I actually did get Dragon's Dogma 2.
Ah,
I got that.
okay.
And I've again not played a lot of it, but I don't really want to play it right now because I find the frame rate quite terrible and it's kind of hurting my eyes. And usually I'm not a guy that complains about frame rates. Like, I can do 30, it's no big deal to me. But this is like an unstable 30.
I've saw the tech review
Yeah.
and it's bad.
And I don't think I've not put it on in over a week, so I don't think it's been updated yet. I don't think it's fixed yet, or if they will fix it, but I'm hoping. So I'm kind of just waiting that one out. Hopefully, wait for an update before I play that again, because from the little bit that I did play, I thought this is actually something special with this game. Like, I really want to dive deep into that game because I've seen a lot of people talk about it on Twitter and seen a lot of pictures getting posted, and it looks like a ball, like so good. So
Yeah.
just waiting for that.
But not if it gives you a headache or eye ache
Yeah,
because the
exactly.
screen is
Yeah, it's
flickering
just
or the animations
it
are
hurts my
juddering.
head
or
after
whatever.
a while.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, apart from that, I've not been really playing much because, yeah, I kind of took a time out of gaming this week until Friday when I just made this new account, and then I actually get this right. So last night I done a achievement boosting session on Assassin's Creed 4 multiplayer at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, is this through the multiplayer Discord?
No, not through the Discord. I literally
Okay.
I'm on a website called trueachievements.com,
Yeah.
and there's a True Trophies equivalent. But so I've been a part of that website for a long time, and because I'd made this new account, and AC4 being the tricky one with online achievements to this day, I was like, right, I was going to go and set up a boosting session for what's the achievement? I think it's can't remember the name of the achievement, but the achievement is to be the highest scoring player playing as the Jaguar on whatever type of match it is. Domination.
Okay.
And basically we just boost it. So me and three other players, one guy from England, there was a Canadian and a guy from America, and yeah, we just set it up so that we all search the match at the same time, that we all get in the same thing. We only got a few randoms in some of the matches, but yeah, we just basically taking turns, right? Okay, you're it, so you go capture all the bases,
Got
and then
it.
we'll just stand there and you can just kill us over and over again so that you definitely win. And we just took turns
Nice.
each, and then we all got the
Nice.
achievement, and yeah.
Gaming brings people
The
together.
things you
This is
do.
great. But you're smart to get them because how long are those servers going to stay online?
Exactly. That was like a lot of people that was what one of the guys was saying last night. Is like, because he plays AC4 multiplayer all the time. He's like, he really
Oh yeah.
enjoys it. He was saying like, see the amount of players that have came into this game in the past couple of months, and it's all because of Skull and Bones.
Yes. And I wonder how many others have seen. Have you seen the news about the driving game, the racing game, The Crew?
Yeah. Well, I've not seen the news about it.
So there's The Crew 2, and then there's a new one that was released, I
Oh,
think, end
I
of last year.
Motorsport or something like that, or Motorhead or
Yeah.
something.
The first one, just called The Crew. Now, I don't know the game at all, right? I don't know the
Yeah.
details. I don't know if it's a single player and multiplayer, or whether it's single player only, but it needs a server connection for leaderboards or whatever. I have no
A
idea.
Ubisoft
But
connection.
the Ubisoft did their usual thing. They turned the servers off, and there's no way to play the game single player or in an offline mode.
Yeah.
So if you bought that game, and I appreciate it's an older game, 10 plus years, whatever, but if you bought that game,
Yeah.
it's no longer playable. It's completely disabled,
Yeah.
and I wonder how many people look at that and go, I need to mop up these trophies on, because Black Flag is now the oldest multiplayer Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's still online. And that's what, like, because when obviously I'm a achievement completionist guy, right? So obviously I'm like, oh, I'm gonna play all the AC games and I'm gonna get all the achievements in all of them. But as it stands, yes, AC4 and AC Unity are the only ones with some sort of online achievements or trophies behind them. So yeah, they're the two tricky ones. And I would say that at this point, AC4 is probably the harder one to get the achievements in because one, the servers are really dodgy, like they don't work half the time. And on top of that, some of the achievements, unless you're boosting them like I'm doing, then they're pretty
Yeah.
impossible to get. So
There's one in Unity which, do you have to get? No, it's not a double sync. It's not a synchronized double assault. Damn it. There's one in the Unity multiplayer or Unity co-op, and it was on PlayStation, and Wolfie helped me. We're going back.
is it synchronized assassinations?
Might be, and
Because I think you need to do 10 of them.
I think you're right. I think that's what she helped me with.
Yeah.
And we're going back probably 3 years now, when my PS5 was new, and I thought basically the first game I bought was Unity on PlayStation.
Yeah,
Now, actually,
of course.
I've never finished Unity on PlayStation because I do find it quite clunky. I'm just used to the PC where it's a lot frame rate, it's a lot smoother.
See,
Anyway,
that's the thing. What trying to just jump in here, I think. See, this is why I play all my Assassin's Creed games on Xbox. Because even though it's technically the same console as a PS5, the Xbox does run Unity at 60,
frame rate boost,
even
baby.
though, yeah, love it, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Xbox has got some really nice features.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry. Yeah,
sorry.
so when I got Unity, I was doing the story, kind of struggling with the movement and the controls, just because I guess it was such an adaptation. Anyway, Wolfie and I did a series of co-op sessions where she said, right, go here, do this, right, there's a trophy, right, follow me, do this, there's another trophy. So I have, I think, all of the co-op trophies in my PlayStation account. I've just never finished the story or done anything else. But anyway, all right, played anything else recently?
Yeah, not really. Just a wee bit of this, bit of that, everything kind of. Yeah. Yeah,
I'll,
Rise of the Ronin's the one that's kind of kept my interest.
Understood. I'm going to keep watching it, and it's something I'll definitely, yeah, see how if it
Tell you
is
what, I might stream it one day and you can watch, right?
all right. I want to see how much you mash the controls.
Yeah.
Whether I think I've got a hope in hell's chance of, making any progress. But yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
What have I been playing? Nier Automata, really enjoying that. Resident Evil 4 remake. I've played that pretty solidly over the last. It's not a very long game. I
Enjoying it?
Yeah, I love it. Really enjoyed it. I've not played the original classic
Right.
Resident Evil games. I've played 2, 3, and 4 remakes, and that's it. I found 2 really challenging because I'd never played a game like it. You have to think quite differently, and there's the puzzles and the logic and balancing your resources. I enjoyed 3 probably more, but maybe just because I was more into the flow of it. But 4, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Bit more action adventure-y rather than sort of slow and steady and but yeah, really enjoyed that. But one I do want to call out, or 2 I want to call out, is Venba, which is a very short. It's won quite a few awards at the GDC Awards. It won several BAFTAs at the BAFTA Game Awards. It's probably a 90-minute game,
All right.
story based, and it's a cooking puzzle game, but it's telling the story of what it's like to be an immigrant.
All right.
And try to adapt to your new country.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's very, very simple. And I would say to anyone who wants a really chill, well, chill's the wrong word because that sort of implies like it's Stardew Valley where you're just farming. So chill's the wrong word. It's a story game. It's very simple to play.
It's not gameplay heavy.
It's not gameplay heavy, but man, the story is excellent.
Yeah.
Really makes you think.
I like those type of games to break up the bigger games. So what's it called, sorry?
Venba, Venba. It's on all the consoles, it's on Steam.
I actually think I've seen the picture show up on something.
Yeah.
Can't remember. Somewhere.
Oh, by the way, don't play it on an empty stomach. You will be starving.
Oh yeah.
You get to the end. You'll want to get some proper Indian food or Indian takeaway because man, it's awesome. So definitely recommend that. The other one I'll call out is Disco Elysium. Have you heard of that one?
I have heard of it. I've heard nothing but good things about it as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna add to that. Again, completely unique, at least from my gaming experience. It's like 20% a game and 80% basically an interactive novel, and it is a novel. I mean, there's multiple endings. There are multiple minor endings. I've only played it once. I was obsessed. It really worked my brain hard. I thought it was just engrossing. The voice acting, because it's basically it looks like a text adventure.
Yeah,
there's a lot of text. The voice acting that reads the text is fantastic. It's a detective game, I suppose, a detective role-playing game, and absolutely brilliant.
What is the setting?
So,
is it like future?
No, it's what's the word you would use for it? Is it a Uchronia? It's effectively an alternate Earth. So you're humans with other humans. It's not aliens, but it's not our continents or our countries or whatever. So it's got a bit of a 1920s or maybe late 19th century feel to it. So it's industrial, but it's run down.
Right. Okay.
But there are lots of little hints in the game and in the story that there are other forces at work. So it's got a bit of mystery as well.
Cool.
And you can kill yourself almost immediately if you want to.
One of those games sounds like a Sierra text adventure.
You can within 10 minutes you can reach. I'll tell you this, and it's still not. It doesn't matter. It's not a spoiler. It's only 5 minutes into the game. If you try to reach and grab the tie down from the ceiling, you can die at that point. Now, of course, you've lost nothing because you've only been in the game 5 minutes, so you've lost no time. But I did that, and I was like, oh shit. I've never played. This is great. So, yeah, I tell you what, if you go onto I might put a screenshot up for those of you watching on YouTube. I'll put a screenshot up on the video version here. If you go to the Disco Elysium subreddit and look at the most upvoted post, that meme perfectly describes the game. I'll put it on the screen later.
Right,
Anyway,
okay.
so yeah, those are a few I wanted to call out. A lot of late night gaming and reading the story of Disco Elysium over the last few months. And honestly, you could replay it, getting different outcomes, different characters, doing different things. I read somewhere that the full script is something insane, like over 1 million words.
Oof.
Yeah, it's incredible. I don't even know. I'm sure someone out there has replayed it and completed every possible branch. But
yeah, definitely.
yeah, it was amazing.
I'm assuming that's what the like trophies would be attached to it, would be to get like all the different endings and stuff.
I would guess so. I
guess
so. I don't tend to look at trophies or achievements too much. Usually, if I've played the game and I'm like 2/3 the way through or 3/4, I'll think, I might try and finish these. But for this game, I'll be honest, I didn't.
But yeah, no, it's just not worth it.
No, you could invest hundreds of hours. I'm sure people do, but yeah, it's not for me. I realise we've been speaking for more than an hour, and I put out a call for questions earlier on Twitter, on the YouTube community page, on Discord, and on Blue Sky, and we've had a lot of questions. And I know I had other things on our talking points, but maybe we should skip them and go to our questions.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so yeah, we've got we put the word out earlier today, and honestly, within about 3 hours, we've had several pages of questions from listeners. So I'll tell you what, I'm just going to read them out, and then Chris and I will give our opinions. So first of all, we put the question out on our Animus Hub Discord, just saying, ask us anything. Rhett asks, if you could have one weapon that exists in the AC universe, what would it be?
Good question. Right, well, I'm a simple guy. So I would, you know me, I would just go Hidden Blade, but specifically Connor's one, because the wee knife comes out and spins.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. It's a great question because there are so many. There are the mythical ones. There are the magical ones.
Get your standard ones as well. Like I would be happy with a bow, a really nice bow,
a really nice crossbow or something. Yeah. Talking of bows, Rhett, I have no imagination at all. It's the Phantom Blade.
Yeah,
it's a cute little crossbow on his wrist. It's adorable. I think it's amazing. I love that weapon.
See, that's the one I always forget about for some reason. I don't know why. I think I remember all the Hidden Blade. I remember the one like Exio's one with the gun in it. And,
yes.
But I never remember that one for some reason, and it is basically the best one, apart from the hook blade, obviously.
Of course, there are so many. I mean, like someone else in Discord mentioned Evie Frye's cane sword. How classy is that?
Yeah,
you know, a cane.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah. What did the newer games haven't really? Yeah, they haven't really dived into that, have they?
Yeah, they've been more about different types of weapons. So you've got your swords and your axes, and then your flails and stuff in Valhalla.
What did So Connor had the pivot blade, swivel blade. What was it called?
I think it was pivot, but I can't remember.
Yeah, and of course his tomahawk.
Tomahawk, yeah, and his bow.
Yeah, what was Edward's unique? He had double blades, didn't he? Which of course.
Yeah, he just had the double blades, pirate swords, and just flintlock pistols, I guess.
A lot of pistols.
Yeah, a lot of pistols. 4 pistols.
Yeah.
I mean, I like if we're talking like ISO weapons, I think the Sword of Eden's really nice looking. It's a cool sword.
I've always been attracted to a spear.
Yeah. Well, if you had Cassandra's spear, you're pretty unstoppable, so.
Indeed, and you live forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Rhett. That I think so. Rhett, that's our summary. Basically, we're going for our favourite. So yeah, Chris is going for the pivot blade. I'm going for the Phantom Blade.
Yeah.
All right. Louise asks about the AC Symphony that's coming to London next month, and Chris and I are going. Declan is going. I'm pretty sure Louise is going. So we get to meet in real life. This is going to be great. Louise asks, do you think there'll be a surprise guest at the AC Symphony? Bearing in mind that the flight have already been confirmed. Good question. So the flight, they're the composers of the Odyssey soundtrack, and they've composed for Horizon, both Horizon games and other stuff as well. They're based in London, so for them it's a short trip across the city. I don't think there are any other of the Assassin's Creed composers that are British, are there?
Well, there's Lorne Balfe, who is Scottish,
Ah,
so there's him.
do you think he might? I mean,
I
he's
mean,
a big star.
aye, he
Would
is big time
hop
now.
over the
He
Atlantic?
probably not. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not sure. I know he does all sorts of big movies and stuff. So
Mm,
yeah, I'm not
mm.
sure. But I would expect maybe a dev or two to be there, or maybe a voice actor or something.
Evie, Victoria Atkins, she's based in Los Angeles. I think that's unlikely, but young Jacob Fry, he's based in Canada, isn't he? I don't think he lives in the UK either. So
Oh yeah.
again, Louise, I'm not sure how many of the known cast members. It doesn't mean they can't fly in, but it's just less likely.
Were you at the last symphony?
I was October 2019. Yeah, I went with my eldest because we'd both played Odyssey, loved it, and thought, hey, let's go to this nerd concert. We loved it. I had no idea. This was before I'd played any of the other games, you know. So we enjoyed it as a concert, but we didn't know all of the stories and the
Yeah,
emotions and everything. So this will be quite different. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, now Michael Antonakos was there at that one, and he did a brief speech afterwards. I don't know. Some actors are very good at hosting and acting as like a master of ceremonies, and some are not. It's just not their strength. So who knows? I wonder if maybe Jesper, is it Kide or
Yeah.
Kid? I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I wonder if he will make a little trip over from Denmark or wherever he's based to attend the show. Um,
Mm.
the only other thing that might happen, just as a nice little gesture, and again unlikely, is if Brendan Angelides turns up, because I think it's the first concert since the release of Mirage. Again, I could be wrong there.
I think it's the first concert since COVID, because Simon and my team is gutted that he can't go to this one
Ah,
because he's already doing about three other
mm,
things that weekend. I think he's got like a wedding and stuff or something like that. But because he had tickets to go to the last one that got cancelled because of COVID. So he had tickets to go and then it all got pulled away from him. So yeah, I think this is the first time in quite a long time.
yeah, okay. So I don't know, Louise. Honestly, anything's possible, and I suppose people can travel, of course, a lot more easily now. Be nice to see. Honestly, I mean, VA appearances, yes. Honestly, I'd be happy to see the composers take centre stage. I think the work on this series is
Yeah,
amazing. I'd love to see Sarah Shashner there. Um,
yeah,
Jesper Kid, The Flight, we would expect to be there. Um, that covers most of the recent games. I'm going to run. And you already mentioned Lorne Balfe.
yeah,
Who else are you missing? Austin Wintory, um, Chris Tilton, who composed Unity's soundtrack. I mean, it'd be great to see them all lined up. I think that's unlikely, but
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
All right. Master Hecate, who some people will know as Zark, he asks a bit more of a technical question. So here we go. What are your speculations and expectations for AC Red and the upcoming game console upgrades? So the PS5 Pro has been announced. The specs have been revealed. I don't know. Think Xbox has announced anything.
I think there's rumors about a digital thing.
Mm, mm,
Apparently they are going full steam ahead with the next console, but I think the next half stage is so I think it's some diskless thing or something. But like I said, I don't actually I read this question, I was like, I don't actually know because I've not kept up to date
right.
with the Xbox or the PlayStation Pro news because I'm not really that interested. So
Um, Fair enough. Or let me ask you the first half of the question. Do you have any speculation or expectation for Red?
well, I've got a lot of expectation, unfortunately, because it's the AC game I've been waiting for since the dawn of time. But I mean, I I I feel like we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I feel like AC Red is going to live up to, because I've never been a person that expects too much. I'm usually quite happy with what I'm given for the most part. I'm obviously like I see issues with things, but when it comes to AC games, I've never been too disappointed. Um, I feel like with what they learned from Mirage, and
Mm,
I feel like they've
mm,
learned what not to do with Valhalla. I feel like I feel like they've learned a lot, and I feel like the game is going to be
yeah.
good. Obviously, we don't know
Yeah.
anything about it yet, but from what I gather, it should be good. And I mean, I'm a big fan of Quebec. I really like pretty much everything they've ever made. So I don't know. I have hope. That's my expectation.
Mm, that's fair enough. I think on your point about Quebec, like I loved Syndicate, I loved Odyssey. They're
Yeah.
very well made, very reliable, and I'm thinking Valhalla was a mess when it was launched. Maybe that was COVID. Maybe we shouldn't judge them too harshly for that, or maybe it was just too complex. Maybe they bit off more than they could chew because Valhalla had so many mini games and systems and whatever. Anyway, my
Yeah.
expectation for Red
Yeah.
is I don't know whether it will be, what's the word, revolutionary in terms of gameplay, but I expect it to be
Yeah.
very well polished,
Yeah.
very fluid, very smooth, if that's a word that makes any sense. I hope that
Hmm.
I hope it's too late now. You know, these games take 3, 4, even more years to make. I think the average for an Assassin's Creed game is generally about 4 years. I think Mirage was
Yeah.
made in less time, but it's too late in Red's development for major changes. Let's
Yeah.
say learning from Mirage. So whatever people playing Mirage loved,
Yeah.
it's probably too late to redesign or add major systems now. So Red's gameplay loops, core systems are well locked in, I would say. I mean, if it is coming out,
I even
sorry, mate, go
had
on,
this same conversation.
go on, mate.
No, sorry, I was totally cutting in there on keep finish. No, I was just going to say I had this exact same conversation the other day with somebody, but about Rise of the Ronin. They asked me like, "Would you think they could learn from Rise of the Ronin for AC Red?" And I was like, "Well, nothing, because I mean that game just came out, and AC Red. I mean, if the rumors are true and it's coming out this year, then there is no way anything's getting
No,
changed really, or anything's getting put in from scratch, because I
no,
mean they've
it'll
just not got the
be
time."
even now. Let's assume it's late October. We are 6 months out from release. It's probably not far off feature complete, even if it still needs a lot of debugging,
Yeah,
polishing, finishing of developing assets.
yeah,
You know, um, I'm not minimizing the work that's remaining. There's a huge amount of work remaining, but yeah, I don't expect major
yeah,
changes. I hope that the team
yeah,
developing Red, I mean, they know what worked well for Odyssey. Odyssey was a big seller. Some people really didn't like it, but millions of people really did. Origins was a
yeah,
big seller. You know, I don't
yeah,
like Valhalla. Valhalla was a big seller. So I hope they learn the good lessons from what worked well for Valhalla, what worked well for Odyssey, Origins, you know, but
yeah.
speculations, I don't have too much to comment there, Zark. I just want a well made game. I can't really say you more than that, you know.
It's going to be Assassins, isn't it? It's not
It
going to be
would
Hidden
be
Ones,
Assassins by
I
then, yeah.
think.
Yeah.
It would, definitely. So it's, I mean, see, with just that part alone, I think that's going to have a lot of people just be a little bit happier about the
Mm,
situation. Because it's like,
mm.
oh, it's an assassin, yay, finally, because you get all that mob that are not happy
Well,
about
it
it.
would be nice because we haven't had. Okay, so I'm gonna be one of those guys, right? So Valhalla, Eivor
Right.
said, "Nope, I'm not joining the Brotherhood or whatever they were called, the Hidden Ones." Cassandra was not
Yeah,
a hidden one until
that was
much,
weird.
much later outside the game, and even then, maybe not. Bayek founded them, but only at the end of the game. The Fry twins operated outside of
Mhm.
council control. Arno got kicked out of the Brotherhood. Um, Edward only joined the Assassins right at the end of the game, sequence 11 or whatever it
At the
was.
very end.
Connor, actually, do you know Connor was the last protagonist? Maybe Aveline. They were the last protagonists who were
My
like
man.
proper quote unquote capital A assassins for their
Yeah,
story and the majority of the game. And I
yeah,
don't mind it because if
yeah,
every game was just you are an assassin, go kill targets, that would get boring. So it's okay to
yeah,
have the he's been kicked out hand in your gun and badge at the door as you leave the
Yeah,
Brotherhood. But
exactly.
it would subvert expectations to have a game where we're just an assassin doing assassin stuff. From the start of the game to the end of the game. On the hardware points, Zark, so the PS5 Pro does have a bit of a spec bump. I think it's about 10% more compute, 10% more graphics processing power. No more memory, I don't think, or a very small amount of memory has been added.
Really?
Yeah, it's not.
So it's still a terabyte?
Yeah, it's. Oh, I don't mean game storage. I mean the RAM or the shared memory that's available for the game. It's a few hundred megs more, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
These
Right, okay.
are nice, Zark, but it's not
Right.
enough to. It's not enough to take a game like, I don't know. So Spider-Man 2 does have some limited ray tracing, right? And Insomniac have done a very good job of making the ray tracing work on that hardware, bearing in mind it's an AMD system, and AMD are not very competent. Their hardware's not very good at ray tracing, but the right developer with the right focus can make it work and look good. It's not going to take a game like Spider-Man 2 and suddenly make it fully path traced at 60 FPS at 4K or whatever. It's not enough of a hardware performance bump. Interestingly, Zark, I played Skull and Bones in the closed beta last November, and that is next gen only. It's Anvil Engine. Now we know that game's had a difficult development time, so maybe we shouldn't extrapolate too much. It looked nice, but I didn't start that game and go, wow, this is next gen. This is amazing. Games that I've played that look genuinely impressive. I mean, I'd say Stellar Blade looks fantastic. Horizon Forbidden West, that's actually cross-gen, but on the PS5, that is a beautiful game at 4K. You've got to remember that Red is going to be next gen only, but we still call it next gen, but it's current gen. So Red is going to be built to run on the PS5 and the Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X. So Red has to be built within the constraints of the Xbox Series S, and in particular, which has quite limited hardware, and the PS5. So the fact that the PS5 Pro has a little bit more this and that, it might be the difference between there being like a toggle that says you enable ray trace shadows, or you can hit 4K 60 or 1440p 60 consistently instead of maybe a slightly lower resolution or slightly lower frame rate. I just don't think there's enough of a hardware bump in the PS5 Pro to really transform these games. It could be a little bit of polish, a bit more texture detail or whatever, but I don't know, it's not enough of a hardware change to really get excited about. And the game will still have to be compatible with the slightly older console model. So I don't know, the console hardware consoles are good tools, aren't they? They're a closed system. The devs know what they're dealing with, whereas PC is the wild west of all kinds of different hardware. But consoles have fallen a long way behind now what current PC hardware can do in terms of CPU, GPU, etc. So I don't know. I still think, just at a sort of, if you take a step back, you go back to the previous generation, PS4 and Xbox One, you'd ran Odyssey, Origins, Valhalla on those consoles. Huge open worlds. And yes, we can have a separate debate about how empty they were, but those older consoles ran those big open worlds just fine. I would guess the Anvil engine has some pretty nice sort of designs and optimizations to let it stream in those open worlds, even on those very restricted older pieces of hardware.
Do you know, it's like, do you ever find things in games that, like, obviously, like, breaks the illusion, but then you realize, oh, they're doing that to, like, save memory and stuff like that? Like, specifically for Valhalla,
Yes.
like, the snow, it's, like, only happening around your character and not just everywhere. Yeah, it took me a while to figure that out, but I noticed that because of the photo mode, it was that gave it away.
But I don't think that's. Some people would say, "Oh, that's lazy." No, it's genius.
Yeah,
You've
no,
got
it's
a finite amount of CPU and GPU and memory. You have to be so careful. Have you seen those videos of culling. So as the player's camera moves around, basically the only bit of the world that's rendered is what the camera sees, and it hides. And as you turn the camera, the game is, or the game engine, if you like, is streaming in those textures and building the world. And it's amazing.
I've seen that once, and I think it was actually for Horizon, the second Horizon. I think that was where I seen it being demoed for. I was like, oh, that's fucking brilliant, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So what can we say, Zark? Like, I thought Valhalla was a beautiful game. Odyssey was a beautiful game. Origins is a beautiful game. I know now you fire them up. Sure, you can see they've aged, but where would you spend those extra resources? Better quality textures, better quality animations? I don't know. Let's see. I think, like Chris said earlier, I'm not too bothered about Red's visuals.
Yeah.
I'm more for the stealthy gameplay and the Japanese setting and the music and the sound effects and the NPCs talking Japanese and, you know, all that stuff. So I don't know. One thing I would say is I would like to see a photo mode upgrade.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ubisoft's photo mode has fallen a long way behind Horizon, for example. Incredible photo mode. And there are others as well with excellent settings.
That was one of the things about Rise of the Ronin. I was quite impressed with the photo mode in that. I mean, it's not like groundbreaking or anything, but there's enough settings in it to have fun and get some really good pictures. And I mean, like, there's a wee detail that you can stamp your picture with your gamer tag and like the date and time that you took it, and stuff like that, and just like wee things like that I really like, just wee details. So,
yeah,
that would be nice.
That's nice, mate. All right, probably not a very satisfactory answer, Zark. The only thing I will say, Zark, is there are rumours that the next Xbox hardware might be a handheld, or the low end. So the low end, right, and it's rumours, right? I don't care about hardware rumours. The low end might be a handheld like a Steam Deck type device, and then the high end would continue to be a standalone console. And I fucking love my Steam Deck. It's a wonderful bit of kit.
They should do it like a Switch then, so you can dock it or something.
That's possible. And the Steam Deck has a dock that you can dock it and use it as a Linux desktop machine, you know, with keyboard and mouse and whatever. So
yeah, I might look into one of them.
When's your birthday? Coming soon?
October.
Okay, just in time for no. Anyway, right. Okay, let's move on to. So we had a question posted on YouTube by Vanya. So the question that Vanya asks us is, all right, it's quite a long question. So let me read it out. What is the reason for the decreasing quality in the Assassin's Creed franchise throughout the years? Being cutscenes, story, characters, motion capture, etc. Do you guys think the upcoming games will suffer because of the demands of those who own the company and not giving enough time or space for developers to put their maximum into the games? Love the work you do. Keep it up. Safety and peace. All right. That's a damn good question, Vanya. As I made Chris speak first last time, I'll take a first stab at this and then I'll hand over to Chris. You make a good point, and the newer games, the scenes that are motion captured, we all know those scenes. They stand out. They let the actors emote. You feel the characters' emotions. You feel their voice acting. You feel the emotional impact of those important story scenes, and it's amazing. And I think in that regard, Ubisoft is no further behind any of the other developers. The downside, and this is the bit you talk about quite a bit in your question, is outside of those cutscenes, it's not good. And I would assume, because Mirage had the same problem, the performance captured scenes look great. The other scenes, they look to me, and I can't plot this on a graph for you, but I would say that Odyssey felt like a downgrade from Origins, but I don't know. Valhalla felt really poor in places, and Mirage didn't really improve it. And I'm not talking about the performance captured scenes. I'm talking about the more, either it's robo animated or auto animated. You know, it's camera A, camera B, and it just cuts back and forth between player and NPC. And some of the facial animations look very wonky. Their arms will move in uneven ways, where almost like the character speaks in an angry tone, but then they throw their arms up in an angry tone, but like a second later. So it all just doesn't feel quite right. And there are so many other games that do it better. I would call out Horizon Forbidden West. And again, you can see very clearly which scenes are performance captured and which scenes are auto animated, or, you know, I don't know whether it's done automatically. Probably a certain amount of automation because of the scale of these games. But even Horizon's more sort of linear or fixed scenes, they're a quality level way above what's happened with recent Assassin's Creed games. Does it bother me? Not really. Does it affect my enjoyment of, for example, Mirage or Odyssey or whatever? No, but you do notice it. And I was sitting there thinking, this is what Assassin's Creed games, I think they're beautiful games. Baghdad looked incredible. Walking around that city, the different regions, the different biomes, or maybe not biomes, but the different regions of the city. Actually, yeah, there was different biomes out in the desert. It's an incredible game. The lighting of the sun coming in through the sky. You know, the central characters look great, but the NPCs really don't. And actually, what's interesting is if you go back to Unity, a lot of the minor characters, it feels like there's been no upgrade there. Now, to come back to the hardware point, that could simply be a matter of the available resources. So if you want to have a big open world that loads in seamlessly, you want parkour, you want all the sound, you want the visuals, you want to load the textures, maybe you have to give up a bit of quality in that. What you give up is side characters, so maybe there's no way around that. But I hope that as part of this being, you know, Red will be the first new gen or current gen game, I hope this is an area that gets an uplift, because Ubisoft have definitely, it feels to me like they've fallen behind here. Do I think this is due to the demands of those who own the company? It could be. You know, you've got these games are built to a budget. Let's say the budget for Mirage was 50 million. I don't know. You've got to share that budget out very carefully to get the game delivered on time. And you might look at your system that currently animates your scenes that you inherited from Valhalla and say, this is good enough. I can't afford to spend $5 million or $10 million upgrading it. I'm just going to use this because it works, and I'll spend my money elsewhere on the bits I do want, because they'll transform the experience, give Mirage you know, the feel I want the game to have. So I don't know if it's an executive decision. I suppose you could say we'll throw more money at it, but I don't know. That's a tough one, because Ubisoft, all criticism that Ubisoft has aside, they do need to make a profit. So, you know,
look what happened with Skull and Bones.
Indeed.
I think they kept having to throw money at that, and they still couldn't do it.
120, 130 million in the end, was it? I'm not sure, but it was a lot. I'm just going to address the final point you've got there, Vanya. Do I think that exec decisions don't give developers enough time or space to put their maximum in the games? I think that's a how can I say it? I wouldn't phrase the question like that, because I think if you're a developer and you're an animator, technical artist, level designer, whatever, you're putting your maximum into that role that you have. You see this from from any interview you see with a developer. There aren't many of them that go into this just to phone it in. They do this because they love what they do.
Yeah.
So even though I've criticised the animation of different scenes, as we've just said, at a project management level, if you're the animator and you've got to animate 10 hours of cutscenes, you've inherited an older system and you've been told by your boss, I'm sorry, there's no money to upgrade this. You work with what you've got and you do the best you can. That doesn't mean the developer's done a bad job. It actually means they've done the best job they can under certain constraints. So I don't think it's an issue if developers don't care or don't put their effort in. It's a bit more of a nuanced and balanced question about time, resources, money, focus, and there's not really a right answer. The only comment I would make is I do hope this area gets an upgrade in future games, because as I said, I think Ubisoft have really fallen behind some of their peers. So I've waffled on long enough. Chris.
Well, I was just gonna say I've obviously don't know how games are made or what it takes to go into a game, but I know it's a lot, and I always assumed it was the same thing that you said about because they're open world games, then they need to sacrifice certain stuff, and especially with something like Valhalla, which is the biggest AC game ever, then yeah, I'm not surprised that they had to cut back with the NPCs or whatever. But I mean, you say that about having wonky faces in Mirage and stuff like that, but I mean, for a start, have they not always had wonky faces
Well,
in AC
that,
games as
that
far
is a
back
good
as
point. That is a
AC2?
good point.
I'm pretty sure that I've seen some pictures, man, of them where their chins up their half the side of their face. But yeah, there's that, and then also, I don't think Mirage is that bad because I've done a lot of VP with Mirage, and some of the NPCs that I've taken the camera right up to, and the detail in their faces, like their skin texture and the clothes that they're wearing, is sometimes really gorgeous and really good looking. So I don't know if it's just some NPCs that are crap looking, or yeah, I don't know. Strange. And I mean, I run the game on performance mode, so I've not even got it on the good graphics setting or anything,
Yeah.
and I still think it looks good. But I mean, who
I
knows?
think Mirage is, Mirage is a beautiful game. The whoever or whichever team
Yeah.
of people at Bordeaux did the lighting in that game, my word, it looks fabulous.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, it's you make a good point. Maybe it's a feature in quotes of the Anvil engine that it doesn't do certain things so well, but that's because it does other things very well, like running big open worlds on. You could run AC2 you could load those entire cities on an Xbox 360 for God's sakes. It's amazing when you think about it.
See, I always wondered, like, see for something like Valhalla, where you can literally climb anything, where you can climb any building, climb any bit of rock face or anything like that. I feel like that would take up a lot of power or whatever you want to call it, because I just feel like that, like everything has to be constructed to be able to allow that to happen. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't make
You
games,
make a good
so I
point.
don't really know.
Every there's a hidden series of, I think they're called nodes, but I might have misremembered it. Yeah, you're right. So every wall, tower, rock has these nodes hidden, and that's what the hands and the feet reach out to
Yeah,
to give the animation like you're parkouring. That all takes
yeah,
memory. More memory for that means less memory for NPC faces or whatever.
yeah.
So
If you want your Parker back, then the face's got to go.
we've got amazing parkour, but the cities of Japan are empty. Yeah, yeah. All right, that's a tough question, Vanya, but a fair one. I hope we've been able to give some thoughts there that help what we think. All right, so over on Blue Sky, L'Amour d'Elise, that's Marie Claude, who's been a guest on the show 3 times, I think. She's my friend in Unity. So hello, Marie Claude. Nice to hear from you. I do owe you an email. I did start writing it and I need to finish it. It's lovely to hear from you. She says, nothing to ask, just a heartfelt welcome back. So thank you, Marie Claude. Appreciate it.
Oh,
And looking forward to speaking to you soon. All right. Let's move over to Twitter. Now, we got a lot of questions on Twitter. Some shorter ones and some longer ones. So here we go. Arshak, AC Landmarks. He asks, I think he's asked me this question before, so I think this is cheating, Arshak. Next time I'm going to expect a better question. Okay, here we go. Are you an assassin or a Templar, and why? Chris.
well, assassin. Anyone surprised?
No, but I'm interested in the
I
reasoning.
mean, I don't actually know why. To be honest, I just would always pick the good side over the bad side. And I know what people are going to say, that the assassins aren't always good and the Templars aren't always bad. I get that. But if we're talking about, just generally, then yeah, I would go assassins. I believe in their ideology more. Like I believe in freedom for everyone, even though it could be chaos in the end. I feel like people should have the freedom to make their own decisions and make the mistakes that they need to do. And whereas obviously Templars just want to rule with an iron fist, and I don't
Mm,
agree with that. So
mm.
no, I
I
would pick
kind of, at this
assassins.
point, as a proud Scotsman, I almost want to hear your best Mel Gibson freedom. Anyway, no, we won't do that.
One
Right, so
day.
one day, before I answer this question, Arshak, Mrs. H.E. Kenway, interesting name, she is a big fan of Haytham, as you might imagine by her name. She has written a very long, detailed fan fiction about the Kenway family and everything. She has an amazing, I remember she shared a picture of it on Twitter years ago. She has an amazing, I think it's a map of the Caribbean, but it's done in the style of the time. And I think it's quite a
Mm.
rare collectible. Anyway, so Mrs. Kenway says, in addition to this, I agree with Arshak's question. Sometimes I have the feeling I am a lonely Templar here.
Oh.
So, Arshak, Mrs. Kenway, I'm very sorry. I am with Chris on this one. I would have to join the Brotherhood because although I respect the goals of the Templars, peace, no war, I think giving up free will is too high a price to pay. People need the freedom to think, to make mistakes, to get angry, to fall in love or not, all those things. And the thought of being mind-controlled zombies, the price is too high to pay. And the assassins are not good guys, but the Templars are up to some shady shit.
Yeah.
Harvesting people's DNA through the Helix system and recording their memories in their, is it Brahmin VR systems from the comics and whatever. So there's a lot of global controlled stuff going on here.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm a free spirit.
Is it Mrs. H.E. Kenway that likes Otzelberg as well? There's someone in the community that really likes Otzelberg, and I
That
don't
is
understand why.
Lisa. That's
Oh yeah,
Lisa.
Lisa.
Yeah. So hello, Lisa. By the way, I don't know if she listens, but hello, Lisa.
But it's
Um,
always like for me, whenever someone like really likes a character that's like a bad guy, like so that like um Haytham, right? Whereas I can understand why people like Haytham. I can even sometimes understand why people like Shay, but
mm,
it's so bad I can never get my head around it. I'm gonna have to talk to Lisa. I'm gonna actually have to talk to her and find out like what is it about
Sit her down and tap on the
Otto
desk.
Berg that
Right.
likes like I need to understand this. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he joins. Isn't he kind of forced to join the Templars because his daughter is ill and they save his
Yeah.
daughter's life or
Yeah.
something like that?
But
It's the only way he can get a treatment for his
yeah,
daughter.
yeah, yeah. I think she's going to die or something. I
Mm.
can't actually remember. Like I said, and Rogue is the game I've played the least and know least about and all that side of things. So
Yeah, I've only played it once, and the only bit I remember is, oh my God, what's her name? And she says Melanie LeMay is a super chipper overachiever.
oh yeah,
Anyway,
that's
what's her
Violet
name?
DaCosta.
That's it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Well done.
I actually think she's quite funny because it's after the first part of that, and then she comes out and she's like, "Yeah, you weren't supposed to see that video," and then she's like, "So you've got the access now, so you can log into your colleagues' computers, if you want to be helpful, or you can log into your colleagues' computers, if you want to be sneaky." I was like, "Yeah, it's quite funny."
That's a funny one, Rogue. We might come back to that for a later question, actually. All right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna speed up a bit because we're approaching 2 hours here.
yeah.
Right. Leo K says or asks, "What's a game outside of Assassin's Creed usual or core genre that you think would be fun to see and try out? Abstergo strategy game, shooter, fighting game?" Good question.
Yeah, I did see this question and I struggled with it because I have thought about it before, but the thing I always come back to is some sort of like Halo Wars Command and Conquer type game. for some reason. I
Okay.
don't know why, that's just where my mind goes, but I don't even know how that would work. It would need to be some future thing where it's Abstergo fighting a war or something. I don't actually know. See, it'd be too weird.
Do you know, before I'd finished reading his question, my first thought, and obviously I've been thinking a lot about Shogun recently,
Yeah.
and the original Shogun Total War. Again, I was thinking about, I was reminded of the Brotherhood mini game where you recruit your assassins in Rome and then you send them out on
Yeah.
missions and they level up. And I was so proud when I got all my assassins to level 9. I think it's level 9 is the top level in Brotherhood. And then there's the Kenway's Fleet mini game and
I
Black
quite
Flag
enjoyed
and all the
that.
rest of it. I did too. So stupid. It's such a
Yeah.
simple little game, and I
Brilliant.
actually really
Love
enjoyed
it.
it. Anyway, going back to Shogun, the one thought I had, Leo, was kind of mashing together that kind of RTS, as you've said here, strategy game, but with that Brotherhood mini game. So you have a Templar stronghold in one part of the country, and Brotherhood, you're fighting the Brotherhood, or vice versa, and you have a tech tree,
Yeah.
and you recruit agents, and you complete missions, and as you do so, your goal is to conquer the cities, or you could even do it within a city as you gradually conquer corporations or take over other strongholds. That could
Yeah.
be quite. It'd probably be turned into like a card game or something. But anyway, I would quite like that with the chess pieces on the board. You drag and drop your Sigma team operative into this region, and it goes into a mini game, or the stats get auto calculated. And I don't know, that could be quite fun. It would connect to some of those earlier mini games that we had. I think in Brotherhood and was it in Revelations as well, where you did your
Can't
assassin
actually remember.
missions? I
Aye,
think it was.
Revelations, but that had the no the was it a tower defense game?
Oh, the Den Defense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not that
I
fun.
wouldn't want that as a separate game. I'll just say one thing I would have liked as a standalone, and honestly, this is a mobile game I would have played, would have been Orlog, which was the dice-based mini game in Valhalla. I thought that was great. I
Oh yeah,
loved that mini game, and
yeah,
I would love to have played that as a standalone,
yeah. Did get a bit addicted.
head to head with friends, whatever. Of course, it's not connected to the overall themes of Assassin's Creed, but I do like the idea of an RTS game where you aim for global domination, and maybe when you complete the tech tree, you finally launch your satellite with the Apple of Eden in it, or whatever, and get control of the world.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, do you want to add anything there? Make different genre of game.
Yeah, I don't know. See, my mind went to something ridiculous. Like, do you know what Theme Hospital is? Theme Hospital was an old game. There's a game that's similar to it now. Can't actually remember what it's called, but basically it was a really silly game, and you build a hospital. You build all the different rooms, so you've got like your GP's office, you've got a ward, you've got a pharmacy, and like basically, and you need to hire the right staff for the different rooms, receptionist as well, and janitors and all this type of stuff. And then basically like people would come into the hospital, but they would have all these like made up ridiculous diseases and stuff like that. Like a guy would come in, they'd have like a big inflated head, and they would come up and they would like inflate it more and then like pop it like a balloon. And all this, it was crazy mad stuff. It was so funny, man. But I don't know why my mind went there. I was like, yeah, maybe there's an idea there where it's like an Abstergo research thing, and it's like, oh, they're doing all these weird experiments on people. I don't know, and but make it silly and make it funny or not. But I don't know. It's just my mind wandering.
Would you ever see a way of, because you like a Dark Souls
Mhm.
game? Could you ever mash that style of game into Assassin's
If
Creed?
anything, I would go the Sekiro route, where it is more of this parry, fast-paced sword fighting, as opposed to Dark Souls or something like that, where it's like, oh, you're just kind of blocking and rolling and stuff. But yeah, I think the Sekiro combat would work kind of well for it, but again, it's so hard to get into for most people, so it would be a bad idea, I think, because it would just alienate most of the community. So
Yeah, that's a good question, Leo. When you hear this episode, drop us a comment and say what you think would work, because you play a wide variety of games, and you frequently upload clips and guides to them. So I would like to hear from you. What would work well? Could you go for an all-in on a hacking game where you're just doing different puzzles in an office and you're just hacking? I don't know. It wouldn't appeal to me, but all right, let's move on. So some guy called Marco, I've never heard of him. He says, hello, Marco. He says, welcome back, guys. Are you getting geared up for Red? Which Japan-based shows, movies, games, books have you consumed recently? We've kind of already covered this, but do you know what? Sorry, Marco, we spoilt this question by already answering it, but let's do a quick recap. So, Chris?
Yeah, so I am playing Rise of the Ronin and enjoying it a lot, and I am currently watching Blue Eye Samurai, and I will watch Shogun straight as soon as I finish that.
Nice. And yeah, for me, Shogun, amazing. Hadn't heard of Blue Eyed Samurai. What network is it available on in the
It's
UK?
on Netflix.
Perfect. I'm going to watch that next then.
It's anime, by the way.
Okay.
But it's Western made. It was made by a French couple. But I think it's brilliant. I thought you had seen it. No. Because people were talking about it on your Discord and that.
I haven't watched almost any.
Because I don't like anime.
No.
I don't like it, and it was Adam was where you'd probably like it, and I watched it, and I didn't think I'd like it, but I was like, this is brilliant. This is probably one of the best things I've watched in a long time. Because I mean, I don't like anime usually because I find Japanese storytelling just unbearable. Because there's so much like over explaining things, and they're like telling you what they're doing whilst they're in the middle of a fight and all this, and that's just ridiculous to me. But I think it's because it's like a Western take on anime, and it's a really good story. It's beautiful to look at as well. So yeah, I should look at that.
All right, Blue Eyed Samurai, I'm going to check it out. That's it for me. Do you know what, Marco? If I can find my paperback of Shogun, which I think is stored up in the loft here in a box somewhere. Or maybe I'll just buy it again. What the hell? I'm going to reread it because it's a damn good book. Even though it's probably later in the period than Red is set. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Viral Undead, also known as Jason, the creator of Assassin's Mead and previous guest on the show. He says, welcome back. With the launch of the Fallout show, there's a resurgence of players returning to the games. Even and I've seen this has been announced as well, there are some unexpected upgrades being delivered to the older Fallout games very soon. If Ubisoft ever launches their Assassin's Creed show, what games would it inspire you to replay, and which would you hope that they remaster or upgrade?
Well, you know me, I'm always playing all the AC games anyway, so that's not changed. But no, I would hope it would inspire other people to go back and play specifically 1 and 3.
Yeah, good call.
But yeah.
I think the earlier games, again, thinking a very boring, practical, like money side of things, I feel like the earlier games would be easier to adapt because they're linear stories, generally shorter, more compact stories. They're more grounded. So even though you've got the end of AC1 with the Apple of Eden and Mualim sort of appearing, you can explain that and set that up in the TV series so people suspend their disbelief. Some of the later games delve a lot more into the myth, and it would get a bit harder for people to say, what the fuck is going on here? 3 is a great call because, hey, American Revolution, who doesn't want to see that brought to the telly? And actually of course, the TV series doesn't need to follow the game story at all in terms of how it's structured, but you could have 2 parallel stories of Haytham and Raton Heketon, not Connor, and that would help teach the viewer that the 2 halves of this battle, and they're almost 2 halves of the same coin, So 3 is a good shout. I mean, I would want Unity.
Yeah.
French Revolution brought to the screen.
I think that would be brilliant.
Did you watch the film Napoleon?
I've not seen it. I do want to, but yeah, I've just not had a chance to.
I thought it was dire.
Oh, really?
It was. Uh,
Rubbish.
it was. The thing is, like, all the components are brilliant, like the set pieces, the cinematography, the story, and the dialogue were fucking awful. And I want to see someone do the French Revolution properly, you know. And I know that Unity's story often gets criticised, but I think Unity's story was very, very good.
Yeah.
You had to pay attention because there were some important points delivered in single lines of dialogue. But I think that the French Revolution would be a great mirror to hold up to freedom versus, free will versus control.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
tell the story of why these two halves are fighting.
Yeah, the French Revolution is one of the most perfect settings for AC, whether it's a game, TV, whatever you want to do. So yeah, that is a really good show.
The frustrating thing is, every time I think, this game or this story of this character would work well, it's already been done. So like Eivor, well, we've already had Vikings and Last Kingdom. Do people really want another
Yeah,
Viking epic? Maybe not. Then you think of like, well, what about Syndicate, Industrial Revolution? Well, we've had Peaky Blinders. You know,
Yeah.
do people want another gang warfare TV series? Maybe not. I kind of feel like Ubisoft need to get the fuck on with it before the good
Yeah.
ideas are taken up, or they just create their own unique story. But
I think they should do what the Fallout series has done and basically just have an original story in the universe. So it's a new story with a new, because that's what they've done with the movie, and that worked. I mean, I still think we should be finding out what the hell is going on with, is it Callum and the rest of his gang?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you see the last at the end of the movie, they've escaped up Abstergo, and then you never see them again. I mean, I think Sophia's mentioned in Origins, but apart from that, none of those people are mentioned again, and I think that's really weird.
it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like the TV show it should be about that. It should be about them.
I'd be up for that. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
but I mean, I doubt they'll be able to get. They'll not get Michael Fassbender back for it. I doubt, which is a shame.
It was a passion project for him, though, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, he. I don't know whether he. I'm hazy on the details. I know there's interviews and others out there. Someone can correct me, but I don't know whether he funded or helped get it going. But I think he really strongly campaigned to be the lead in it because he loved the games and he wanted to help bring them to the screen.
Yeah.
The way he felt they should be done. So for him, it was something like Henry Cavill in The Witcher.
Yeah.
Similar situation. I'll tell you one thing, Jason. If Ubisoft, or as and when they do bring their TV series, I hope it really encourages people to look for Assassin's Creed podcasts.
Yeah.
Which game would I hope they remaster or upgrade? So if we're just talking about a remaster, which implies
Most of them have had it.
They have, although
They're waiting for one.
annoyingly, a lot of them are just on the Switch, aren't they? Not always available on every platform, I don't think.
Well, I mean, the Ezio Collection is a remaster of the Ezio games. 3 has been remastered with Liberation.
Oh, good point. Yes.
4 hasn't. Rogue has. Unity. So the only ones that haven't is Syndicate, Unity, 4, and obviously the free RPGs and that, but they're like newer games anyway, so they wouldn't be remastered. So yeah, I mean, it's really like there is rumors out there that 4 is being remade completely, not just a remaster, but
Right.
we'll see where that goes.
So let's differentiate then, Jason, between a remaster and a remake, like a full ground up remake, like Resident Evil 4 that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The problem with a remake is it risks screwing up what worked well in the past.
Yeah.
AC1 needs some TLC.
Yeah, big time.
That's a very old game. It's approaching its 20th birthday. That's a frightening thing to say, isn't it? It's already 17 years old. It's not playable on PlayStation 4 or 5. It still looks great. It has such a unique atmosphere. So almost, part of me wants to say just don't touch it. But I wish it would get enough attention to be available to newer players.
Yeah. I think they might be too afraid to touch it at this point.
Well, that could be it as well. It could be that the assets, as in the underlying, the visual assets, the audio assets, are so dated that they can't be accessed and updated. With the modern tooling, that's possible.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's such a hard question because some aspects of AC3 remaster look good. Some really do not. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. My voice is getting a little dry. Liberation remaster doesn't look great.
Yeah.
Then that was a port from a PS Vita game.
The free remaster isn't great.
Mm.
The lighting on it's good.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Liberation. I think Liberation needs a full remake.
Yeah, a remake and made it a full game.
Yeah, that's the one I would put my money on. And it probably wouldn't sell very well, but I think it tells an important story of
a great story,
slavery, diversity, all of that. So that's the one I would go for.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's move. Which one would you plump for? Did you say AC1, you think, Chris?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would like AC1 to get a bit of love, but like you, I don't think they will at this point. But I mean, I would love. No, are you talking remake completely, or remaster?
Jason says remaster.
Right, well, if it's a remaster, then yeah, I would just say like remaster 1 or remaster 3 again, but do it right.
Yeah.
That's my baby.
There is some talk and about using AI to assist with this kind of work.
All right.
So to analyze and improve the lighting, upgrade textures en masse.
See, that's what AI should be getting used for.
Yeah, the human has still done the hard work. The AI is just doing the... So Angela, that's Angie AN, a fantastic artist. I have one of her pictures up here on the wall. She asks us a question, which I'm going to hand to Chris.
We know the historical setting and the culture and the endless rumours. We can guess what AC Red could be about and how the gameplay could be. Now, about Hex. We have very little information to even form a clear idea what you guys expect for this game. That's a good question, actually. Well, I'm expecting Hex to be a bit more linear and a bit more emphasis on not only the story, but a horror aspect to it. But again, I don't really know.
I'm going to say, just to be a bit out there, it'll be survival horror dungeon crawler. And do you know what the first word I thought of was, like you said, linear.
Yeah.
You'll be walking a very clear or running fairly set series, maybe just a branching set of paths, but...
We played Hellblade?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to have a bit of feel, like the way that moves feels, and it is kind of quite linear. Like you've not really got many ways you can go or anything.
Yeah.
But again, who knows? It could end up being just your usual type of Assassin's Creed game, but like with this different coat of paint on it.
And that would be fine, but I would love them to throw something different out there.
Yeah.
Maybe it only takes place at night.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe it's best played in the dark with headphones on for maximum scariness.
We were having this conversation on Twitter a couple of weeks ago about how it would be good if we had the opposite of Rogue. We need a story where you're a Templar first and then you become an assassin.
Ooh.
And I'm sure somebody mentioned it, that would fit perfectly for Hexy. Because it'd be like, obviously, this whole witch thing going on. It would make sense to be the bad guy first, to then see your ways are wrong, and then become one of the good guys or something. I don't know. But yeah, we need that story, and I feel like that could be a good place to tell it.
I like what you said about Hellblade, because in Hellblade, and I didn't quite get the ending, but I did really enjoy the game. If it's witchcraft, is it going to be building on what we had in Valhalla, where there were certain areas. There's potions that Eivor drinks, mushroom tea, but there were those areas of quote unquote magic, dark sadir, and I wonder if we'll have a lot more of that. Again, could be linear. At the end of every memory sequence, there's a fucking mushroom fever dream of gothic nightmares or whatever. But instead of it being optional side content, it's main story. And as the player goes through these nightmares, that's how they evolve, or that's how they realise the Templars are the bad guys. Or we've got loads of ideas. Obviously, if it is, I just want to say this now, on the 14th of April 2024, Darby McDevitt, if it is a survival horror dungeon crawler, you owe me 10 Canadian dollars, sir. Okay. All right.
Oh, it's Darby, right? You said before about could they do a Dark Souls type Assassin's Creed game? Could be that.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. Would they, bearing in mind Assassin's Creed is supposed to be very grounded, and I know it hasn't been so grounded recently, would they have the balls is the wrong word. Would they almost do a game where it's all a dream?
Oh, I wouldn't put it past them.
And it's like a twisted, warped version of the real world because it's a dream. And because it's a dream, they can...
Is it a dream or is it a simulation? There you go, man.
There we go. And if you throw the Animus into that, you can have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of freedom, gameplay freedom.
Yeah, the Animus is like the perfect framing device for a story.
It really is. It really is. I want to talk about that in a future episode. Anyway, yeah.
Cool.
All right. We're going to move on. So, a user reincarnated says, "Welcome back, gentlemen. Question. What is your favourite Assassin's Creed supplementary media piece? Comics, books, etc.?"
Yeah, for me, I think it's just the books, because I'm not really into comics. The movie was great. I did enjoy it. If there's a TV series ever, then I'll probably enjoy that too. But yeah, for me, it is just the books. I quite enjoy them.
I'm going to be very boring, a user reincarnated, and say the same. I don't really enjoy comics as a medium. The books are quite varied, aren't they? You've got the novelizations of the games, which are okay. They can be useful for adding detail, but it's the newer novels, I suppose, from Forsaken onwards, where they started to tell other stories or the opposite story or fill in the gaps that are more enjoyable. And I would say Heresy, and then some of the newer ones like the Magus Conspiracy. Probably my favourite novels of the book series, and there's still a few books I haven't read. One of my goals this year is to finish the other books I haven't read.
And I'm still trying to finish the Highland Children. Still not got through it. I've just not had the time. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm about 3/4 of the way through, so I'm nearly there. It's just not found the time to read the rest of it yet, but I've enjoyed it. So
shall we do a book review on that one soon?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Nice. All right. Okay. There we go. A user. So we're book guys, but the comics not quite working for me. Okay. Michael Smith. He's an epic Assassin's Creed collector. He says, "Welcome back. What are you looking forward to most at the Symphony?" I'll take this one first, and I'll hand over to Chris. Honestly, the music's epic, and I'm looking forward to that. But actually, I'm looking forward to seeing my friends. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Chris, Declan, Louise, and I'm not even sure who else are going. But to finally meet Chris and Declan, who I've spoken to, on a daily, weekly basis for a long, long time, is going to be great. What about you, Chris? You don't have to follow my lead, by the way. You can
I was going to say that. Apart from, I'm hoping there's a few particular songs that I hear. Probably won't hear them because they're pretty vague. Like one of the ones I really want to hear live is Chandeliers and Carnage from the Unity soundtrack. I think to hear that live, I think I'd probably cry. It's so good. But apart from that, I'm really excited to meet you guys because we've been talking for years now, and it'll be really good. And I'm going to meet Adam as well for the first time, who's like part of my
Excellent.
team and that. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Now, he's a bit of an aviation geek.
Oh yeah.
I'm a bit of an aviation geek, so he and I might just, anyway. Yeah, Adam, hello. Looking forward to seeing you too, mate. The track list is on the website.
Oh, I
So
did
if you
not
don't
know.
want spoilers, then obviously don't look. But if you want to know if your chosen track is there, check out the website. I believe the track list is
Oh yeah,
there.
I'll definitely have a look at that because I'm quite keen to know.
What I remember from the previous symphony, and I would assume it's the same now, but it might not be, is the previous symphony did the music. Did it do it in game release order? I think it did. And each game got not long, because there's a lot of games.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 minutes, but it was like a medley of a few of the tracks.
Yeah.
So the orchestra blended one track into the next, into the next.
That's cool.
And then there'd be a break, there'd be a cutscene, there'd be a series of cutscenes running in the background while the music was playing. So what it might be is, let's say you get 5 tracks, you might get 2 or 3 minutes of one, only a minute of a half of another one, because of course they're trying to make it flow.
They're blending it in.
Exactly. So it's not the same as having, like, of course it wouldn't be, because there'd be like 15 hours of concerts. It's not the full soundtrack, but man, I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Bigger stuff.
Okay, we've got an interesting question here from G Assassin. Would you like to see more AAA publishers outsource their IPs to other studios? If yes, which games and the studio? That's a good question. That's more of a game dev industry question, which I don't know that I'm equipped to answer, but I'll be willing to give it a shot. What do you reckon, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were to, first of all, let me just say this, right? And first of all, if AC was to be given to any other company, I think Ubisoft need to get their own house in order first. Basically, I think Ubisoft need to hire a lore master for once and for all. They need that going forward. And then once you've got that, I think you can talk about giving AC another developer to try a game. But if I was to give AC to another developer, I would probably give them to Insomniac. Because, I mean, they're good with movement. So, yeah, I think they would probably make a really good AC game.
That's a great call. I'm going to answer the first part of your question, G Assassin, is yes. It wouldn't bother me if publishers, outsourced more work to other studios. I think we've seen a bit of this just within the bubble of Ubisoft, with Mirage. Bordeaux was new. It's not a new studio. They've been in existence for 5-6 years. They've contributed to other projects, but Mirage was the first project they've led, and they did a damn good job. And they took their own spin on it. They added a few new things that we've not seen before. I know that they also brought back a lot of gameplay things from earlier games, and that's fine. It was the game was almost like a greatest hits, wasn't it? And that's not to criticize their work. Not at all. It's been great. So I think sometimes getting fresh eyes and a fresh team on it is actually really good for the gameplay, for the franchise. I suppose the trick would be, if that third party builds the new game, do they hand back all of the code and the IP to the publisher? I'm assuming they do, because then you want other studios to iterate on it in the future. G Assassin then says, if yes, which games in the studio? Now that's a really hard question, because I probably don't play a wide enough group of games to spot those trends. I will say, on the indie front, Annapurna Interactive publish a range of really interesting small titles. We've spoken in the past about What Remains of Edith Finch and others, and they do some really great games. Focus Interactive, which I think is a French publisher, they publish a wide range of smaller AA and indie titles, and I follow them closely. They got some really interesting stuff, a wide range of genres and play styles. If they were gonna turn Assassin's Creed into like an interactive novel, they can hand it over to Don't Nod, who make Life is Strange. But anyway, to be a bit more serious, I'll tell you what, G Assassin, to go back to the earlier question from Vanya, his question was kind of focusing more on the quality of cutscenes and motion capture. I want Naughty Dog to do all of the cutscenes in future Assassin's Creed games.
Absolutely.
Because they don't miss anything in terms of the quality of animations and the quality of facial capture and you know, the player's emote, because and I get that's their focus, right? And it's not big open games. Those are linear games and very small play areas that you're moving through, so it's different focus, but not really a serious answer, but that's a good question, G Assassin, and maybe you could tell us what you think, because I probably don't know enough about the industry to properly answer that. Okay, let's finish. We've been talking for a long time. Let's finish with this final question from the Magi of Fayum, and they ask, when do you think they will announce the AC Red trailer? Chris.
Well, is he saying when will they announce when the trailer's going to be, or when does he think the trailer will be? Because, I mean, I think they won't say when the trailer's coming. It'll just happen, and I think it will happen at the Ubisoft event in June. So if it's coming out this year, then I reckon we'll see it in June.
Do you think it would be... So you think it would be at a major event like Ubi Forward?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
There'd be no warning that.
Yeah,
that's it would just be like the Yves Guillemot on the stage, cut to black.
I mean,
AC Red
I think
trailer.
most people are kind of expecting to see Red there this year. So, I mean, they could come out a few weeks before and be like, yeah, Red's going to be there, because people will probably be asking them left, right and centre. So, I mean, they probably might come out and say, yeah, it's going to be there, or they might try and keep it a secret and then just go for it. But, I mean, yeah. But that is if it's coming out this year. We still don't know for sure. So, I'm hoping that it is. I hope we get a trailer for it, and it's a gameplay trailer. Although, actually, we've not even had a... We haven't had a teaser, have we? Yeah, they usually bring out like a teaser or a cinematic first, and then they bring out the gameplay one. So it'd probably be a cinematic trailer in June, or is it July? I can't remember when their event is.
Was it with Mirage? Did we see Mirage first at the AC15 live stream, or did we see it first? Was it a PlayStation event where we saw some content first? I forget. I think PlayStation might have shown something before any of the, before Xbox, before Microsoft themselves, but my memory is hazy.
Yeah, so I feel like that's right.
Go on, mate, sorry.
I feel like that's right. That sounds familiar, where it was PlayStation that showed it off first. But I mean, no idea.
There's always a wild card that, like, is it the Summer Games Festival, which is Jeff Kiley's thing? There's always like a wild card that'll be the first time we see some content, and it could just be a 10-second teaser. Yeah, but as proper trailer,
technically the thing that we saw before was the teaser, was it not? Where it is literally just the ninja jumping up and landing on the roof. Yeah. So I'd say that's the teaser, and then we'll get a cinematic at some point soon. And then hopefully at the end of the cinematic we get a date, but I doubt we will.
Please.
It'll probably just be like fall 24 or something. If we're lucky.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, so that brings us to the end of all the questions. Thank you everyone for your questions. These have been great to read and to think about. I feel like we've done quite a bad job of answering some of them. There are some tough questions here. But anyway,
it's been a while.
It has been a while, and they've really helped us think and have a good conversation. We hope you enjoyed that. Hope you also enjoyed our general catch-up on stuff. I haven't done audio editing and video editing for a while, so I'm quite rusty. I don't know when I'm going to publish this episode yet. Probably take me a week or so, but hey, I'm not going to stress about it.
Yeah, don't worry.
I've enjoyed this, mate, and I've enjoyed seeing you again and chatting.
Yeah, same, man.
And any final words, my friend?
Just
Wait, that's
glad to
terrible.
see you back.
That sounds like I'm about to put you on the guillotine. I don't mean it like that. Any
The
closing
revolution.
remarks? There we go. Yeah, revolution.
No, I'm glad you're doing a bit better and glad we're going to start recording again. And yeah, just been taking some time out myself, so I'm kind of laying low at the moment. So, but I mean,
Nice.
Scholars of the Creed will be back soon.
Looking forward to hearing more about that as well.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that another time. All
yeah.
right. Chris, thank you for joining me, mate. This has been a long one for sure, but it's been great. Thank you all for listening, and we'll be back very, very soon.